Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacob. This lesson will focus on chance, part 2, extension. So this is a little bit challenging for grade 1 or year 1, but I thought it would be interesting to present it because with the help of teachers, I think students will find this very enjoyable. We are able to predict the chance or probability of some events. For example, in the last video I mentioned that a coin was tossed before the start of a tennis match to determine who serves. If Bob calls heads, what is the chance that a head will show up? So on any coin you've got a tail and a head. Okay, that's what you've got, just two choices. Most coins have a head on one side and a symbol on the other side representing a tail. So there are two possible outcomes, but only one head. Excuse me. We can say that Bob has a 50-50 chance of winning the toss. We can also say he has an equal chance. Also, Bob has a 1 in 2 chance of winning. If we use a fraction to show the probability, we can work it out the following way. Now let's assume that one of the people calls heads. How many heads are there? One head. How many possible outcomes? Two, because the coin has two sides. Hence, the probability of calling a head is 1 over 2. 1 over 2. The same applies if you call tail. How many tails are there? 1. How many possible outcomes? 2. Hence, the probability of calling a tail correctly is 1 over 2, which is a half. Now, let us look what happens if you roll a die, which is singular of dice. If you want to find out the probability of tossing a 6, we do the following. How many 6s are there? There's 1 6 on a die. How many possible outcomes? 6, because there are 6 numbers. The probability of throwing a 6 is 1 over 6. What is the probability of tossing an even number? That's when we toss a die. How many even numbers are there? 3. And you know that they are 2, 4, 6. How many possible outcomes? That is the total numbers. There are 6 of them. So the probability of tossing an even is 3 over 6. So 3 out of 6 is a half, because 3 is half of 6. The probability of tossing an odd number is exactly the same. Let's look at days of the week. What is the probability that you were born on Tuesday? How many Tuesdays are there in a week? 1. How many possible outcomes? That means how many days are there in a full week? 7. So the probability that you're born on Tuesday is 1 over 7. Let's look at the months. What is the probability that you're born in April? How many Aprils are there in a year? 1. How many possible outcomes means how many months are there in the year? 12. The probability that you're born in April is 1 over 12. Now this is a very interesting and enjoyable puzzle with marbles in a box. So consider the following marbles in a box. 2 blue, 1 red, 3 green. If you put your hand in the box, what is the chance of picking each of the following colours? The probability of picking a blue. How many blues are there? 2. How many marbles altogether? 6. So the probability of picking a blue is 2 over 6. And when you cancel that down, that's 1/3. The probability of picking a red is 1 over 6, because there's 1 red and 6 marbles. And the probability of picking a green is 3 over 6, because there are 3 greens and 6 marbles, and that's a half. So this video has introduced you to some basic calculations involving chance and probability, and with the help of your teachers and some experiments using counters and dice and coin, I'm sure you'll be able to understand what's going on.